Hi boys and girls, hey, nice day out here. I'm back in Black Diamond of all things. I'm kind of taking over from part one where I ended up getting hit by a dodgeball in the back of our, I'm going to turn this volume down a little bit. That's a DVR recording of the US Open, and that's what we're going to talk about basically. So yeah, out on the lanai at our timeshare when we were in Edina watching the US Open, it was a great deal. Had a bunch of screaming kids in the background. One of them hit me with a dodgeball, and then they ended up needing another player, so I took about 5 minutes to do that, and then my battery went dead. So whatever, anyway, most of this was actually written in northern Iowa at that timeshare. But so I volunteered to play dodgeball with them, and speaking of volunteers, how about all our Black Diamond members at the course in Edina? They get a lot of credit for spending sometimes 6 to 8 hours on the golf course per day during their duties. And actually, speaking of volunteering again, how many of you know that Lainey does a lot of volunteering on several other things as well, like raiding golf courses in Florida, and also volunteering at a therapeutic horse farm up in Ocala, working with physical and learning disabled kids, as does Beth Jens, and she's been doing it for many years herself. Kudos for that stuff. I should be a little bit jealous that Lainey gets to stay in Edina. She's there as we speak, and she's going to get to play Minicata, Hazeltine, and Interlaken, all in the next 3 days or so. I get to go home and work on taxes, the garage, the car, the golf cart, pay the bills and stuff like that, right? Poor me. I guess it's fair. Of course, I would have volunteered if I was asked. Just a little sarcastic sour grapes there, I guess. I'm just kidding. Anyway, at the time of the part one video, in case you're viewing this first, by the way, we are attending the U.S. Women's Open Championship at Edina at the famous Interlaken Country Club. And I do apologize for this blog kind of being a bit, I guess disjointed is the right word, in present and past tenses, and it being in so many parts, part 1, 2, and 3, because, as mentioned, I wrote and recorded some of it at the open site, and then some of it when I got back here to Black Diamond, which I'm doing now. Those who know the following folks that I shall mention briefly, mostly snowbirds who live in Minnesota in the summer and Black Diamond in the winter, call that God's country up there, which of course it is. I mean, and they hosted us at parties, tournament tickets, food, beer, wine, accommodations, you name it. We were obviously having a great time at this venue, and I just wanted to extend my and all of our members who visited our sincere thanks to those who hosted us, because we've had a great time. It did rain a few times, but basically we were blessed with pretty terrific weather. You can only imagine this lake Okoboji, where we stayed near Spirit Lake in northern Iowa on the Minnesota border, unless you've been here yourself, because it's a real pretty place. That's where part one video was taken outside Lanai. The lakes are unbelievably beautiful, as is Minnetonka, northwest of Minneapolis, where the Raggetses live. So here are a couple of the great goodies that the volunteers got, as well as superfood of all kinds. Check this out, the U.S. Women's Open at Interlaken. What a great little thermos. I don't know how it knows to keep things cold and warm at the same time, or at different times, whatever. And here's a great little thing. Mexico was they had a promotional thing there where they gave us water bottles, and this thing is cool. See that? You can see right through that, and it really works great on an airplane, because, or at the TSAs at the air, both trying to get into the venue at the golf, because you're not allowed to have cell phones or cameras or anything, and also on the airplane because they can look in there and see that you don't have, I don't know, they don't like liquids and stuff like that on the airplane. So